Welcome to UFO Buster Radio with your hosts Manny Moonraker and Big O.
Hello UFO Buster Radio land. This is Manny Moonraker, and we have another episode of Manny's Blurb here for you. And as mentioned on Sunday, we will be backtracking a little to get into a story that broke last week regarding a star that might be a few years too far. However, the discovery of a particular radio signal poses a fascinating find. However, before we get into that, I just want to recap a few things from last weekend, and that we did have a special co-host, which right now goes by the name of the Puerto Rican Panda. So unfortunately, the Puerto Rican Panda was calling in from cell phone and the connection was not that good. So while we tried our best to assist in clearing up the audio, wasn't exactly up to par. So we apologize. However, we hope that the information that you received and the discussion was useful, especially since the Chilean Navy story continues to run through the internet and through additional other similar podcasts like our own, as it represents a fundamental step towards nations that do not have the technology but are turning to the rest of the world to help them define what is happening in their borders. If there is nothing else other than that, that would make this particular story incredibly and fundamentally important to the topic of ufology and UFOs. There is no doubt in my mind or anybody else's that the Chilean Navy does not have the ability, or technology should I say, I'm sure they have plenty of will, to rationalize what happened over the coast. In fact, because it's such a mystery, it might explain why they did not act, why they didn't set out and search for this object, this anomaly, this UFO. And in many cases, that would make you wonder, if a sovereign country has an unidentified craft sitting off its shores, why would they not, after getting clearance from two different towers, why would they not investigate the anomaly firsthand? Food for thought. So if you're new to the podcast, we are on the air with full episodes every Sunday, and throughout the week I do publish Manny's Blurb without my co-host, of course. If you want to join the conversation, you can tweet us at UFO Buster Radio. Find us on Facebook under Manny Moonraker. You can also find us on the UFO Buster Radio Instagram. And we also have a UFO Buster Radio magazine on Flipboard. And to add insult to injury, just in case you cannot get enough of us, we also can be found on UFOBusterRadio.com. And what I tell most of the folks that are interested in the podcast is never leave home without it. This day and age, you can listen to any podcast, including our own, through your mobile device, Android or Apple, by either going to iTunes, Spreaker, Stitcher, Player FM, and basically you can just find us anywhere. Just look, and if we're not there, let us know. We'll invade. It's our job. It's our job to keep the discussion going, and mobile is the way to go. So now that we got that out the way, let's get the discussion going. So back over the summer in August, there was an article published, a mysterious radio signal heard from no less than 95 billion light years away. That's right, 95 billion, not 4.2 too far, 95 billion light years away. There was a signal from a galaxy that appeared to be possibly from alien origin. Or at least that's what the article says. Truth of the matter is, if it wasn't one of us that did it, it's got to be alien, right? I'm not familiar with anyone sending out signals from 95 billion light years away. The signal came from a star, HD 164595, in the constellation Hercules. It is believed by those in astronomy that it does not have a planet in the so-called Goldilocks zone, or basically where you would find our little blue planet. However, what they're saying is this planet, HD 164595b, is a rocky planet and probably not habitable. How did we come to this conclusion? Who knows? But that's what it was. That's what it is. I haven't found any updates on that. But now we're going to fast forward to last week. Last week, scientists rediscovered after 10 years, or came across again, had their ears to the pavement, a dwarf galaxy located 3 billion light years from Earth. A lot closer. 95 million years was just too much. 3 billion light years away. Not 3 light years, not 3 million light years, 3 billion light years. And just to put into perspective what this actually means. Because for one single light year, traveling at 18,000 miles per hour, it would take you, me, and Big O 37,000 years for one light year. So luckily for us, this one dwarf galaxy is just a little bit over 3 billion light years. You do the math. Again, 3 billion years, way too far. However, we did have this burst, this radio signal that reached us. So the first thing you have to realize is, according to science, this radio frequency, this radio wave, travels as fast as light does. Which means it took 3 billion years to get here. 3 billion. Not 3 years, not 3,000, not 3 million. 3 billion years for this to get here. And initially it was lost in the mix. They lost it. 10 years ago they had the signal, could not pick it up again. Instead, they were picking up other rampant signals. But this particular signal was elusive. Got a long way to go. Lots of travel. But in any case, they found it again. And over a 6-month period, they heard the signal 9 separate times. So now the question is it the star that's putting out the signal, or was there an alien civilization that had radio waves, that had enough power to put out the signal 3 billion years ago? That's right. So basically, if we were to somehow have the technology to send a blast back, it would take 3 billion years to get there. I don't know about you, but I don't think I can wait around that much time to find out if they're going to send anything back. Chances are no one will be around to wait and see if that's ever coming back. So that was the story. That was the big buzz last week regarding this radio signal, this sound heard from across the pond, but it was 3 billion years too far. I'm sure that people will continue to work on this to try to figure out whether or not this star is actually a neutron star, which they tend to have a nasty habit of pulsating anyway. So you would get a pulsating signal, but I guess we'll see. If this was radio frequencies heard from an alien civilization, it was 3 billion years ago, so chances are they may not be there anymore anyway. But hey, it's a discovery nonetheless. Let's celebrate it. It's good. Alright, so let's get to the news locally. The ones we don't have to wait 3 billion years to get an answer for. Though we probably won't still get an answer for this anyway. So, out of the Express UK, thanks to one of our favorite writers, John Austin, there's an article published, and the title is, Does the US Have a Space Program? And the reason why is because we've had sightings, multiple sightings, according to the article, over 100 sightings of triangular-shaped UFOs, which people in ufology and enthusiasts have aptly named the TR3B. I'll have the link to the article in the description because there is an image of the TR3B. Now, it's a still image, which, thank goodness for Mr. Austin, it does state that it is a fake image, which this is a first. Usually he makes no claims to whether or not an image is authentic, CGI, or what have you. So the article goes on to make note that there have been many discussions within the government that there are billions of dollars from the U.S. defense budget that cannot be accounted for, and possibly, as conspiracy theories go, have been funneled into secret programs which could have developed an aircraft such as the TR3B. In the article, Roger Marsh, the MUFON Director of Communications, was actually quoted from an article he wrote stating that TR3B, or triangular crafts, are being reported steadily and increasingly throughout the United States, and in fact, some sightings have been under 500 feet in altitude. To give you a number, Mr. Marsh quoted that MUFON received 91 TR3B cases worldwide. 66 of those cases occurred between May 22 and December 22 of 2016. 59 of which actually occurred in the United States. So really, I mean, you don't have to be a mathematician to check this out. If you have 66 sightings within a specific time frame, and 59, all but 7, occur in the United States, what tells you is the origin of that craft? Where is that craft coming from? It's not coming from Indonesia. It definitely is not coming from French Guiana. It appears to me that maybe this TR3B is hailing from the US of A. Now, whether or not all that money, the billions of dollars, have anything to do with that TR3B is your guess as good as mine. However, like I said, you don't have to be a statistician to figure out that the odds on those numbers provided by Mr. Marsh indicate that the U.S. is the origin of this craft. So apparently MUFON is going to be taking a more aggressive stance in pursuing these reports regarding the TR3Bs. But again, just listen to reports from individuals who say they were part of a secret space program. But again, you don't have to rely on Mr. Marsh, MUFON, or anybody else. The fact is that there are many people out there who claim they were part of a secret space program, and they will tell you that the TR3B was part of that program. As a matter of fact, a simple Google search, you will come across sightings or individuals claiming to have seen the TR3B leaving Area 51 over the last decade or so. So to be honest, with numbers like that, chances are the TR3B is our TIE fighter. It's basically our spacecraft. It's what threw the space shuttle under the bus. We didn't need a space shuttle anymore. We don't need a reentry vehicle because we have one that's been going pretty far off into the solar system and probably beyond if you listen to Corey Good and the gang. But in any case, that's what I leave you with today. Again, we'll be back on Sunday. We will have a special guest this Sunday, a return visitor, and we'll take on a UFO topic. It will be a live episode. I will have in this description the Skype ID for the podcast, which means if you live outside of the United States and you have Skype, you will be able to call in to the podcast. I will put it in the description. I will also include it on Sunday. We want to make sure that we include everyone in the conversation. We welcome all perspectives. And with that said, stay in touch. Let us know you're out there. Like Chris out in Ireland. He's listening. Paul in England. Anton in Australia. Janet. Marissa. Star. All you guys. Trust me, I don't bite. Big O might. That's a personal preference for him. And he will be back. I did speak to him. He will be back on Sunday with our special return guest. And I think we're going to have a blast. So join us, won't you? So like, share, follow, download. Get your neighbor, get your baby, get your dog, your cat, your parrot. I'm sure your parrot would sound great repeating some of the craziness we talk about on the podcast. So, with that said, this is Manny Moonraker. I'm signing out for now. Hasta la vista, baby.
I'll be back.